You first, so let's go here. Welcome to another episode of Word is Bond. My name is Christian Lockhart, and I'm with
Or Sneak.
our third member, Derek Moore. Hope he has time to pop on today. But we're gonna get started, man. What's going on? Oh, just so everybody knows, I'm in Pennsylvania, Troy's in Arizona, and we used to coach uh, AAU club back in the day together, formed a good friendship, and now we work on our businesses and we collaborate and we have good conversations and figured our word is our bond. Let's share that. Let's share those conversations with people and just have just an organic convo. See what happens. See what blesses people and see what kind of takeaways we have from this conversation. But I always like to start it off. Try to beat me to it, but it's like, what you working on?
So what am I working on? So today, what I'm working on. So today I'm working on my live tonight. For those of you unaware, I'm Troy Sneed, founder of Dialysis Disciples and the Dialysis Reset. And on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, we go live on a lot of different dialysis topics in the group. Tonight we're working on how to regain your energy, which is a very, very popular complaint for people on dialysis. So I expect to have a lot of people on there. So I'm just working on finishing up the notes and what I'm going to be delivering today. I'm also working on. I was very inspired by you, brother, and
Okay.
your your AI projects. Would you say it like that? And you offered to help me with that. And then I had another young lady who offered to help me as well. So I believe that's where the spirit is leading me to develop. So I'm working on putting together some things that she needs um, to complete that project. And and I also have a coaching call later with
Okay.
my coach just to work on the things relevant to, lastly, my dialysis reset coaching program. So I help dialysis warriors regain their energy and freedom, so they can take back their life on dialysis. So those are the things I'm working on. How about you, brother? What you working on?
You know what I work on? I work on people, man.
Yeah, I love it. How's that
That's what I
progressing?
do. At the end of the day, man, I teach people to think at a level required to achieve what they can, right?
Yes.
And that starts with them working on themselves,
Hmm.
and so all that stem from the book, Operate Unlocked.
Hmm.
I've had even today, man, a lot of conversations with people. I got some programs that I have. I got the book, the coaching program, and special events are starting to happen too. And starting on Friday. And you're in my Facebook group, so I appreciate your love in that, and as I'm in yours, the Dialysis Disciples group on Facebook. But Operate Unlock group, I talked about on Friday, starting this Friday. I'm gonna have the half hour power. Friday half hour power. It's just for people to come in, drop in. I'm gonna talk, but I want people to talk back to me, right? Because I'm always here to inspire, encourage, and spark that thought, get you thinking, so you can exercise your own genius. Yeah, because that's important to me. That's my angle. That's my drive, right? That gives me that fulfills me. Because when I see people get that aha moment based off something I said, I'm good, right? So that's how I coach people into teaching themselves how to, think at the level required for them, right? And so that half hour power, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to unveil, I'm going to unveil the five drivers of transformation in those calls,
Hmm.
right? And you read the book, so you understand what they are. Um, but I'm gonna talk about them, right? And then if I get through all of them, so be it. If I don't, so be it, right? The goal is to inspire and have good conversation with people. I just got off the phone with my best friends from college, man, and we wrapped on some things, and he was totally like blown away from conversation we had. Now it's funny, sidebar, he hadn't bought the book yet. And so
Okay.
he works with guys down South Florida. So he works with me. I said to him, "Hey, how did I get the book? And you ain't got the book yet." You know what I mean? So nah, man. But this book has really changed my life because it's changed other people's lives. It's morphed into this coaching program that is really phenomenal, Troy. And I'm excited. I'm following your steps from a coaching program standpoint. I have my sports IQ that still does its thing, but this operate unlock movement again, another extension of Christian Lockhart, which I enjoy.
And this gives you a opportunity to create impact. And isn't that what it's all about, brother? Coming here helping people. And you mentioned
Yeah,
getting helping people get that wow moment. And you and I had a conversation offline where it was a great residual because when someone gets their aha moment, it gives you that moment of wow, like I really impacted someone's life. And
yeah,
in turn, you got an inverse aha moment yourself. So that's
no
how you
doubt.
know that's how you know it's aligned when you help people and you get that feeling of impact and satisfaction and significance from helping people, and then they do it in turn, and then it's just a cycle and cycle. And I believe that's how he originally designed it to work, brother.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, it was interesting speaking to the gentleman you're talking about. He said to me, he said, Christian, I have the luxury of speaking to you,
Hmm.
right? And so, speaking to you, having read the book, I hear your voice in that book,
Hmm.
and even in my daily, it's driving me right even further. Because the beautiful part about having conversations is we can unpack and we keep unpacking some things. Because at the end of the day, man, listen, we start with my program. It's all about hitting impossible targets, right? And I say impossible because a lot of times, it starts. Somebody asked me today, like, how'd you come up with this? I was at a meeting this morning. He said, how'd you come up with this thing? I said, well, if you think about it, people always tell us to write down goals, right? They always say, write down your goals. But I always say, okay, what then what? Right?
Hmm.
This whole thing is the then what? You know what I mean? If we because you have to go from everything is about going from point A to point B. You know, I talk about this all the time, right? From point A to point B. That means some change is going to occur because otherwise we're still at point A, right? And so change, we like to say transformation is really the word, right? So if we have to transform, that's why I'm going to give you the 5 drivers of transformation because even if just recognizing and knowing what they are, that's going to set you into the next phase of what we know this thing. So yeah,
Hmm.
man, it's pretty dynamic. I enjoy it. I love it. I even said to my boy that I said I might have to write a second book. I never thought about being an author. It just came to me, and I just got busy with it. But since writing it, I have now learned even more about the
Hmm.
framework that I created, right? Because and it just came from my experiences, man, and being able to
Yes.
capture it. But I can tell you right now, Christian delivering it when he first wrote the book to how Christian understands it even deeper now, two different things, right? So
Yeah.
I've gone through those 5 drivers of transformation myself, and will continue to do that, right? Because that's what growth is all about.
Yeah. And then basically, so just to touch on that a little bit, spoke to a lady yesterday. She's working on building a coaching program as well.
Okay,
And she was stuck because everyone like you and me that she hears from, they've built their program and their framework from their life experience.
right.
But she had didn't live the problem that she wants to help people with. But she's very
She
studied
did,
in
did
it.
not.
Sorry,
You said she did live or didn't live.
didn't,
Okay,
right? So she came from a different perspective. Oh, excuse me. What I told her is this: just because you didn't live the problem that you help people with, you can still talk about the experience that led you to want to help the people who have that problem,
that's
because
right.
that's your story right there, and you
That's
can
dope.
build your framework from that as well. So it's interesting that you mentioned that. So there's so many different avenues of helping people, and we've in our conversation this morning we've talked a lot about coaching, but I want to give it to people some value. If you're like us, and you're here watching us, chances are your algorithms on social media are similar, and you get a lot of personal development and coaching advertisements on your feed. But one of the people we listen to on social media or on YouTube is a guy named Myron Golden. He's a business coach. And he says something that really helped change my perspective. Instead of saying, look at all these coaches, oh, everybody's a coach. He said, look at it from the perspective of that's how things are coming. Like everyone needs a coach. If you're looking to do something that you don't have the ability to do, why not get a coach or mentor to help you get there? The time that we're in now is that the market is recognizing this. So you're seeing a lot of coaches, and it's not because the industry is flooded. It's the market saying this is what we need, right? Everybody can help somebody. Coaching is just a way to monetize that for the person actually doing the coaching. And I believe we're headed to a place where people helping others, right, is now just called coaching, but it's something we've been doing for years, mentorship, coaching. So if you're looking to do something, um, why not look at someone who can help you do it? And the beauty of Christian Operate Unlocked is that it's not niche specific. If you want to do anything, right, Operate Unlocked will help you do it. And Christian themselves will help you do it based on his life and his experience. And I try to do the same thing for the people on dialysis, right? I'm just a bit more niche specific for people on dialysis. But once you're in my program, we're going to figure out what it is you want to do, and it's basically going to be operating off the same principles. A gifted tone, which is my book, I don't have it near me, right? And operate
Hang on, I
unlock.
got you. Hang
All
on,
okay.
hang on.
My
Listen,
book,
I got your
gifted
book
tone.
on the shelf right here, brother. You know how we operate.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to say this last thing, Christian. Everything operates on God's principles, right? A gifted tone, the 40-day spiritual fast for dialysis patients, operate unlocked, right? All these things are just branches from the word of God, right? And we just put it in words in a framework that'll relate to you wherever you are in your life's journey. Is that fair, Christian?
That's fair because it's like I told a few people today. Me personally, to your point, to what Myron says, I believe everyone should have and deserves to have a mentor, coach, somebody in that capacity, right? And I told somebody today, I said, the point of the coach is to ask hard questions to get you to think and to hold you accountable, right? Because the whole point is we call it stretch, right? Is to stretch yourself. Even when I had employees under me, my goal was I want to help you move forward, right? I don't need you to stay at the same spot. Then I'm not doing if I'm not any supervisor or manager in this world who is not trying to stretch the people who report directly to them, they're not doing their job. It is what it is, right? They
Mhm.
are holding somebody back, which means they're holding themselves back, right?
Yes.
So at the end of
So
the
true.
day, my job is to stretch you,
So
okay?
true.
And because that's important to me. And if you, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're listening to this right now, and you work for somebody who's not trying to stretch you, get out,
Hmm.
figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now that drives a question that we all have asked or think about all the time. Should I leave my job? And it's funny, Troy, as we got into this segment, this turns out this way. I have an event coming up. Should you leave your job?
There you go.
Right? Because at the end of the day,
That's good. That's valuable.
the reason why we ask that question is we ask that question, but most people never come to the answers of what they really should come to because it's about how you think through the process, right? And to get that clean direction that you're looking for and that peaceful understanding. Because sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's no, sometimes it's not right now. But if you
Mhm.
but you don't know why. The reason is you want to know why. Get some level of clarity. I hate, that is the worst, the buzzword of the world today, but get that level of clarity, right? That direction. Be
Mhm.
clean about the choices you're making. You know what I mean? So now I'm with you all day on that, man. All day. So
I thought
anyway, I
of
don't
it.
know where I was going, but that's where I got to.
Now I'm gonna back up a little bit because I thought of a great analogy while you were talking. Imagine if you have a goal. Say you're 18 years, 18-year-old kid. You have a goal of winning a high school state basketball championship, right? That's your goal. That's what you want to go to, right? You join the team, high school team. You show up to the gym for practice, and there's no coach. There's no player. There's no other players. It's just you.
Mhm.
You can't win a national championship without a team and a coach, right? So that's the importance of whatever goal that you have, right? God didn't put you on this planet by yourself, right? If you could do anything by yourself, you wouldn't be people here, right? So part of what you need to do is find your team and find your coach and use those tools to pursue that particular mission and dream that you have. If for me, if your goal is to not dread dialysis, right? You need a coach that can get you there. Russell Brunson says you only have to be one chapter ahead of the person you're helping. The person, your coach doesn't have to be a major, super duper genius. He just has to have been where you want to go. That fair?
That's absolutely fair. The rest is up to you for how you develop yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how you process, because if we take it to business, you know, whoever's in front of you doesn't mean they're smarter than you, just means they have
Mm-mm.
more information than you,
Yes,
right?
that's
That's
so
all it
true.
means. They have a level of information. Now the difference is if you were in that seat, what would you do with that same information? That's the differentiating, piece for me, right? What would you do with
Mm-mm.
that information? So yeah, go get it. And there's something in between that, right? Because and this is where I hone in on, we do have people, right? It is what it is, right? But we're telling folks right now to go do, but there's a stage before that that we help people with, whether it's in that dialysis space or in my space. We hone in on that thing. I'm not going to give it up on this conversation because it's something that people have to experience to understand it, right?
Yeah.
But to also they need to know that you have to have it, right? And that's you have to become something different, right? I'll just say what it is. I can tell you what it is, but this is where the coach comes in handy, right? Because the coach to understand what it takes to trigger you to become something different, right? That's
Yeah.
why you can't become something different. You can become something different on your own, but you could become something better with someone else. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So yeah,
Yes. And back to the basketball analogy, you on the court and you keep dribbling right and they keep picking you. You keep dribbling right, they keep picking you. You're going to keep dribbling right until a coach says, hey, go left. Oh, yeah. And you go left and you get to the
about
hoop.
that.
You know what I mean?
You
That's what
like
a
left.
coach does.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Left. Like,
Because
wait, I can use this? Yeah, use
a lot of
it.
times, and here's the thing, Christian, I've learned is a lot of times when a coach or your coach tells you to do something, it's gonna feel counterintuitive because if you knew to do it, you'd have been doing it already, right? So if I've been dribbling right all game and my coach says go left, it's gonna feel wrong because if you knew to go left, you'd already went left. So
Yeah.
that's why you need someone who's already been there, who's played 1,000 games, and know that you can't keep going right all the time. That you need to go left. You need someone to tell you that because it's not part. It's not in your awareness. And like you said, I'm pretty sure this is one of your 5 levels of transformation. The first one, I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is awareness. Like Napoleon Hill said, a enemy discovered is an enemy half whipped. Meaning the first thing you need to do is learn about the weakness because if you knew about it, you'd already been fixing it.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you have to be willing to fix it. Right. And this is
Mm-hmm.
where the barter system comes into play. Right. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that we don't think about enough.
Mm-hmm.
Barter means I'm going to trade something to you, and you're going to give something back to me in return. Okay. So what a
Yes.
coach is giving you is that knowledge and insight. Right. What you're giving them is your time and and
Investment
effort. And
and
right, that
investment.
time and effort,
Mhm.
right, to go ahead and try it.
Okay.
Right. Because the coach doesn't need you um to be perfect at it. Their goal is to try it, right? Because you know what I say all the time. It's my job to believe in you that you can achieve something more than you believe in it, right? That's what a good coach is going to do. That's why we talk
Yes.
about stretch.
Mhm.
I worked in corporate and they always had this, that's a term, stretch. That's great and all, but when I look back to your point of having mentors, even in that space and coaching, I didn't receive that because yeah, it's stretch, but I'm trying to get, you're not giving me anything, right? So I had to go figure that out on my own. which is why I totally agree that there needs to be coaches and mentors. Because if that person's always a chapter ahead, right? And they never bring you into that chapter, or you never get to that chapter, then you flipping the same page every time, right? You never
Yeah.
get past the first page. You're gonna read this. What kind of? I'm gonna read this book right here. You sitting there, all right, page 21. You flip it over and go back to page 21. What kind of sense does that make? You sitting here doing nothing then, right? You sitting there doing nothing. I don't know. That's one of my pet peeves, man. Right? That I wish everybody had it and they just don't have it, man. So oh, you
Yeah.
froze on me for a second. So I don't know if you was
Yeah,
you
yeah,
was talking
he
or not.
froze. Yeah, he froze me. I think okay, I just got your internet connection is unstable. I don't know why that happens on these some of these Zooms because my internet is perfect.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
but,
They use a lot of
but
bandwidth on this thing, man.
yeah, yeah.
No doubt. But
But yeah,
anyway,
that's
hopefully you
good
heard what I said.
conversation. Yeah, that's good conversation. So, something popped in my mind that related to what you said, but I lost it with all the
It's all good,
bandwidth.
man. Because I'm gonna tell you something that's popped in my head this past week is plan versus actual.
Okay, talk about it.
I mean, again, let's keep it from a personal standpoint. We all plan for things, right? I'm going to do this. I want to do that. But then do we measure it against what actually happened, right? And so, and I'm thinking about, when we always talk about like what you're working on, that's kind of what I'm working through right now, right?
Mm,
Building even more value for people to let them understand, listen, plan, that's fine. Nothing wrong with planning because we know the adaptation happens during that period as well, right? We don't keep it concrete, we keep it flexible, right? Static, dynamic versus static, right? And so, but at the same time, make sure people understand that you want to track where you're going and then what you actually do accomplish. So that's what was in my head right now, just from a thought process. How do people think about that? Do they not think about it? Am I overthinking it? Right. And I just started thinking about that kind of stuff.
No, that's support because with the people I help, and I believe this was one of my issues too. In full transparency, I still battle it. Like tracking data is huge when it comes to any type of growth and scale, right? Because you can't really know where you're going unless you know where you've been, right? So I always teach my people to track everything they do, whether it's from their fluid intake or whether it was from their more importantly their mental and their spiritual intake. Because for those of you who don't know, I coach people from a faith-based perspective. So when it comes to reading scriptures and and doing the things needed to transform your mind, right? You have to track, okay, I did this, I did this, I did that. Something one of my business coaches taught me before. He said, trackers or winners are trackers. And for a long time, I'm tracking something like, why am I doing all this? Anyone from who runs a business knows how important the data and the numbers are because that's what guides you through the path. What do you think
Well,
about that?
you already said my favorite word, wins, right? And
Yeah.
if you go to my site, the first thing you're gonna say, it's gonna tell you, are you ready to stack wins or not, right?
Yes.
And we say stack wins, right? And so you can't stack unless you understand that you've won something already, right? That's where the
Hmm.
measurement and the tracking comes into play. All right. So if I
Hmm.
understand I got this win here, great. Oh, I got another one. Okay.
Yeah.
We are seeing success by stacking wins. And if you don't track that, then you never get into a mind state of success,
Yes,
right?
that's true.
You just get into a frame of existing, right?
That's
Versus
real
living.
good.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So we want to stack wins, bruh. Period. And
That's
that's
real
what
good.
you try. Like I know I watch. I watch your lives, man. And you had the people in your group. If they're applying the knowledge that you're giving them, oh, they're stacking wins. There's no
Mhm.
question to me that people who are in Dallas, if they're really taking what you give them and apply it to their lives, oh, they've changed, right? Because
Mhm.
the things that they thought were hard before, they probably say, no, it's hard as it was, right?
Mhm.
Self-examination that happens, and that's the battle, though, right? That's the battle, which is fine because we're supposed to wrestle. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because when you wrestle, then you determine, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and just lose this thing because I'm just gonna go ahead and lose. Nah, when you battle, you ain't trying to lose. That's like saying who doesn't like have that winning feeling, It's the
Hmm.
same concept. Listen, I'm trying to lose. Who's trying to lose? Raise your hand. None of them will raise their hand, right? So when they're in your room, they're listening to you. They they should raise their hand, right? Because that's the battle, right?
Yeah,
Throw them in the
yeah,
battle, man. Get in the battle.
yeah.
Choose to fight.
Yeah, man. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. You know, and I always get super spiritual, but that's what we already won. And that's the mindset that you have to come from is that you've already won because you have. It's just imagine it's not a matter of if I do this, then I'll do this, and then I'll win. It's just a matter of doing it. Winning is a mindset and a destination. It's not something that you're trying to achieve. You've already got it, right? The word says that all you have to do is just keep going. Just
Keep going.
keep going, following the path. Like you said, have your antenna up, listening, and getting to where you're going because you already won, Christian.
Listen, man. When you have, I'm going to go back to something you touched on earlier in this
Okay.
conversation. You talked about there's a lot of coaches out there, right? There's a lot of things, especially if we're in their feed or whatever, right? Because they may get that kind of content all the time from who's coaching, who's doing this, who's doing that. At the end of the day, everybody has a key that they're trying to sell you, right?
Mm.
It's about choosing the key that opens the doors that you need to
Come
have
on,
open,
Christian. That's so good. That's
right?
so
So you got
good.
to
It's so
find the
true.
right key, right? So a lot of times you might get into something, you're going to know if it's the right key or not, right? If you listen to something, nah, that's not going to open the doors I'm trying to open, right? Even if you don't know what doors those are internally, nah, that's not my key. But when they
That's
come
so
across something
good.
that's that key, you better go get that key, right? Because we know I went to Lowe's the other week to go get one of my daughters a key. Keys ain't $1.50 anymore. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, they want what for a key? So if there's a coach that's out there that's got your key, you better jump on it. Because guess what? Because a good key opens up a lot of doors. That's what the master key is all about, right?
Hmm.
So if you want to get that good key, you better get it now because when everybody else starts jumping on it, price goes up. We know that because when
That's so
demand jumps
good.
in, price goes up, right? So get the right key, man. If we're talking to you, we got the key, come get it. It is
That
what it
reminds
is.
me. That reminds me what you said when I lost my train of thought when we had the issues. Is that the transformation is in the transaction, right?
Keep going.
A lot of people don't, well, most people don't value what they don't pay for, right? So when
We
you
know
look
that.
at something and there's a cost associated to it, right? And it's a cost that's uncomfortable to pay, and it's a result you want. That's a sign that that's the key. That's one of the signs that that's the key because once you, so by getting out of that uncomfort spot, right? Paying that high price that was uncomfortable to pay, that's the first step in your transformation right there.
Mhm.
Because now I'm worth this. Right? You're telling yourself as far as the be do have, you're telling yourself that I'm worth this significant amount of money that I was uncomfortable to pay. That right there is the first step in the transformation you want, right? If it was like, come get this transformation for 75 cents, oh yeah, I want that. And you pay the 75 cents, I guarantee you won't get the transformation that you're looking for because you didn't break that spot in your brain. You didn't break that piece of doubt and disbelief by paying that large sum of money for the result. So so to your point, Christian, if you find somebody who has the key to open the life that you want, no amount of money should stop you from investing.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, like, for a few decades, I worked in the industrial gas space, right? Which most people don't know what that is, right? But my job was to understand signals and noises,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
that's good.
That's what I did professionally at a very high level, world class leading the whole nine, right?
Yes.
And without getting super technical, what that means is, you see a lot of people talking about signal and noise these days, right? But here's the point: there's a lot of noise, right? Which means there's a lot of keys. right? With signal, you have to have the right sensor, the right transmitter, right? And there's all these transmitters come in different ranges: 0 to 10, 0 to 250, 0 to 600, whatever, right? You can't have something that needs to be measured with a 0 to 600 and you're using a 0 to 10. You're going to get the wrong signal,
Yeah.
right? And so it's about finding that sensor, right? That's really going to touch and be the right range for you, right? So if something costs 10 grand, you don't have it, that's okay. There's another option. There's another option, right? And you got to make sure you can get to that other option by keeping your antennas up, right? Because the antenna is going to tell you, oh, that's the right frequency. That's the signal right there,
Mhm.
right? So you're your own transmitter. You got to start tapping into that a little bit more, But so there's a lot of ways we can slice that up, man. But you're speaking my language right now. This is
Mhm.
gold, and I hope anybody who's listening, please jump in on the chat. Give us a go. Type go in the chat. Let us know you're here. If it resonates with you, let's go. Right? Because we got
Mhm.
more. We here every Troy, let's talk about it. We're here every Wednesday live, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Troy's in Arizona, so it fluctuates. He's either 2 hours or 3 hours behind us right now. Troy, what time zone are we in right now for you?
It's 10:30 a.m. and I have to correct you, brother. You guys fluctuate. We don't change the time. We stay the same. But right now it's 10. Right now it's 10.
East Coast people are, man. We always
Yeah, I
right.
know.
You know what I
I,
mean? You
wa-
know how we
I
are.
was one of them. I was one of East Coast bias is real. But yeah, right
Yeah,
now
the bias is real, right?
yeah, we
But I
three
gotta
hours.
tell you, I would love to move out there, but that ain't happening. That ain't
One
happening.
day I'm gonna get you out here
One
one day,
day you
brother.
get out. Well, I've been out there a few times, and this is beautiful. The
You need to
self-driving
stay.
cars thing kind of threw me off, but I'm like, I'm still good. Let me get behind the wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
you ain't gonna, I'm be like Will Smith and iRobot. Like, nah, I got the wheel, bro. It's all good. Don't even worry about
I got you.
it.
That's what's
Yeah,
up,
man.
brother.
No, this is good. This is good. I think I love this conversation, man. I really do. And I hope it's helping some people out there. We got to get some people we're gonna start pushing this thing, man. Get some people out here and be like, you know what? Start asking us questions, even through the chat.
Yeah, no, this is valuable.
More
I
dynamic
just
like that.
yeah, I feel it coming off. I feel like there's people who can really get value from our conversation. So
Because it's great. This it goes into the AI space as well. It didn't start with that. It started with when the more information we get, the quick it's all about speed, right? Where people can have information quicker than ever before, right?
yeah,
So when the information was slower, we weren't bombarded with as much, right? But now, but at the end of the day, I heard somebody say, I think it was Andrew Whitman said, he said we take in what is it? I don't know, 13 million pieces of information every day, right? I'm wrong, but the number's extreme, right? But we retain like 139 of them or something small, right? And I'm talking visually, audibly, all sensory information we take in, right? We're going to retain a very small amount of that, right? And so where I'm going with that is it matters because when you're getting all that information thrown at you now more so than ever before, there's a capacity change there, right? And with that, so you have to understand how to filter too, right? And so this is where I'm going back to this. This is where I'm just about the importance of coaching now, right? That's a
hmm
filter right there, right? To help you understand how to filter. You are the ultimate filterer, right? So it's up to you to decide what direction you're going to go with things and how you're going to transmit and process that information. But ultimately, it goes back into it's as simple as this: if you start your day off pissy, then
hmm
all that information you take in is going to feed that, and you're going to be pissy for the rest of the day. If you start your day off solid, then all the information, that same information you're going to take in, you're going to process it differently, and you're going to be solid all day long, right? So all that helps when you have sounding boards, when you have people who are helping you get through situations and changes, right?
So good. I start my day every day in the word. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna set the tone for the rest of the day. And I believe that's very important for
Mm-hmm.
people and everyone to do, brother.
Yeah, no
Um,
doubt, no doubt. I
this
think
was a good conversation, brother.
it's good, man. Hopefully, we get more people coming on next week. Hopefully Derek
Hmm
can jump on. I know he's got some timing issues right now with the change.
Yeah.
Because when we
Okay.
were at 12 o'clock, I think that was a little easier for his schedule, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. But it's all good, man.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm gonna put it out there. If anybody wants to get in touch with us, I think we'll have information in the description, right? And don't
Yeah, yeah,
forget,
yeah.
Troy always tells me, like, subscribe, share, all that YouTube type stuff, right? Just make sure you
Mhm.
get down on that. Let us know if you like that saying. Go in the chat if you watch the replay of this. Let's go. Put it in there, man,
Yeah,
because we
word up.
got love. If there's anything you want to talk about, Troy, let me
Yeah.
know if I'm stepping over toes right now. If anyone wants to
Mhm.
talk about something, put that in the chat,
Yeah.
right? Well, let's
We're here
go.
to
We here
help.
to help,
We're here to
man.
help. We have
That's
experience,
it.
guys. God led us down some places um that maybe he's leading you down. Why not get a head start?
Get a head
You know?
start. Because we one chapter ahead. Understand something. We're gonna stay one chapter ahead, so you got to catch up, right? We're gonna
Yeah.
stretch it, but you still got to catch up. You know what I
That's
mean?
what's up.
So, but last thing that I'm gonna talk about is basketball season is over. You know,
Ah,
I'm talking college basketball season, the high school, club stuff. That's about to jump off, but I can't wait till June. I like the high school Scholastic Live personally, but did you watch the game? First off, did you do anything in the Final Four for the women's side in Phoenix this past weekend? Did you do anything?
so remember I told you that I was going to be there. My
Yep.
son was working for a nonprofit who is setting sponsorships. But I'm not gonna say unfortunately. Fortunately, he moved on. He's now a SeatGeek, so he got a lot better gig. But the previous gig was going to be the line to get into those games. So unfortunately, wasn't able to attend any of the Final Fours of any of the women's Final Four stuff. But I watched them.
You watched them, right?
I watched them. I think as much of a coach Gino is basketball coach, he may need a personal development coach.
Talk about
um,
it. Talk about it.
but hey, he did apologize. So
To somebody.
that's awesome.
He
But
he didn't
you know,
apologize to Dawn, but he apologized.
he
I'm gonna call it what
apologized
it is.
to the ether.
Yeah.
He apologized to the
You know,
ether. But
if it was up
but
to
yeah,
me, who did he speak to? Holly? Who was it? Holly Rowe? Was it Tracy Wilson? I forget who he spoke to.
I'm not
It was
sure who
Holly,
he's.
right? It was Holly.
You
I think it
you
was
mean
Holly.
live at
Yeah,
this or
because
after?
what I'm saying is during that third quarter, that's the end of the third quarter when they did that encore interview, which I hate all of those. Number one, I
Yeah,
think they need to
yeah, yeah.
remove that out of sports
Too
because
much
as a
emotion.
competitor, we understand like let them people do what
Yeah,
they're doing, man.
yeah, yeah.
But for him to make that personal attack on Dawn, I had a problem with it, right?
Hmm.
So I'm like, yo, get back on, have that same energy with the apology to
Yeah.
Dawn, right? Because you called her out straight up, apologize to her straight up. But that's neither here nor there. Gino,
He
if you
may
need a
have.
coach,
We don't know. Maybe he called.
yeah,
He may
he may
have.
have done that. But what I know is he needs to be unlocked. So I'm here for you, Gino. Holla at your boy.
Holla at Christian. Get unlocked.
www.operateunlocked.com.
It
Seriously,
don't matter what status you were in.
don't matter.
Donald Trump need to sit down with Christian. I bet you come out there running this country smooth. We wouldn't be in
Yeah,
Iran. I ain't gonna get
have
no
his
political.
mind right. Have his mind
Yeah.
right. There's no question, right?
Thanks,
Have
brother.
his mind right. You know what I mean? The men's side, yo, Arizona was everywhere. Arizona was in the Final Four. They got smacked by Michigan, which
Michigan was
was
too tough,
I
man.
thought they were
Michigan.
the best two teams all year. I thought
Yeah.
early on Michigan was unstoppable when they were smacking everybody, man. And then, things slowed up a little bit, but they still got busy. Then Arizona took the mantle. I never thought Duke was the top team in the country this year, but Michigan and Arizona, the two best teams. And I thought UConn was one of those top teams as well early on. Then they had some hiccups. I thought Solo Ball did a good job finding his game at the end of the season here, and that really helped them out. Terrace Reed, really, was it Terrace Reed? Terrace Reed, the big boy from UConn, really,
Played
really
for
enjoyed
Michigan.
watching him. Right, the old
He
Michigan
played for
player
Michigan.
too, right? Which was an amazing story there. Yaxel, I thought Yaxel,
Great
his
story.
conversation should he have been player of
That's
the
that
year.
was about his
Some people
mother and
think no.
everything. That should have been something they talked about more. He
I
got
think
banged up a
so.
little bit. He got banged up a
Yeah, I
little bit,
think
but he
so.
still
But
balled
man,
out.
that I was Elliot Cadeau to me was a story. He proved me wrong, right? Because I always thought he was a good player, just too inconsistent. But man, when he's aggressive, he showed his worth at that point, right? Like yo, he stayed aggressive. I thought that was cool. And shout out to my man Drew Williamson on staff over there at Michigan. Congratulations on that W. So just wanted to put that out there. I hate that the season is over because I get ready for the W, I guess, at this point, because the NBA doesn't hold my attention as much.
Okay.
It is what it is. I'll watch it, you know what I mean? But the W, I'll probably cash in on that a little bit. But anyway,
All
Just
right.
had to throw that in there before we sign off since the season just ended.
Well, since you see my background,
You
go
got the
Sixers.
Sixers jumping off, right?
Yeah, they battle. They battling for that fifth spot. So
Okay.
you're trying to
I
avoid
see
the
a lot
playing
of
game.
I
VJ
haven't
from
watched it.
Hood.
I want to ask you a question though. I haven't really watched it, but I see people posting about Embiid and how Nick Nurse is using Embiid. What's going on down there in Philly, bro?
Fine by me. It's working because I've always
Yeah.
said Embiid couldn't be the star leader of a team. He doesn't have that mentality. He played his best ball when Jimmy Butler was there because he had someone to push and coach him and mentor and lead him, right?
Mm,
And,
okay.
and I'm gonna back up a few years. What happened with Moses Malone? Um, I ain't gonna go there, but you need somebody to coach you, right? And so I believe that's what's happening. I believe Embiid is being led, not having to lead, right? And it's a new era with the sitting down and resting, and Michael Jordan's laughing at people, but I believe it's working, and I love the way Nick Nurse is managing them, and VJ is the truth, and we already know about the young up rising all star Tyrese. So Paul George coming to his own. I got high hopes. Nobody wants to play the Sixers in the playoffs.
PG's back.
Yeah, he dropped 39 last week.
Yeah, I guess I'll start following now since I got
Hey,
no other
watch the
basketball to
Sixers, man.
watch.
They're fun. They're fun to watch, man.
Yeah,
Maxi and
they're on TV
VJ.
every day up here. So
So
yeah,
what
I'm
do you
gonna
think?
watch it, man. I'm gonna
VJ a
watch it.
flag. VJ a flag. Coop dropped 51 last week too.
You talking about for rookie of the year?
Yeah,
Man, you can't forget about Con Canupo though. I watch.
he's nice
Listen,
too.
I pay attention.
He,
I ain't watching
I
games, but
like
I'm paying
Knipple.
attention.
I like that. Like he
Shoot the
ain't
ball because I
he
thought it was a good team for him to go to. But again, I see Coop dropping 50 a couple times. And
yeah.
listen, I'm
I
gonna
mean, he's
talk
good,
about
but he can't.
from
I
a
mean, he's not going to take it from VJ or Flag.
yeah, nah. Listen, all I can tell you is coming out of college and for the teams that they went to, I think it was a perfect fit for all three. For them to
Mhm.
blossom into what they're ever if they're blossoming, they're blossoming, right? I thought that made sense. Can't come draft night. I think it all made sense. You know what I mean? So good for them, good for their organizations. You know, I heard you were undercover Washington Wizards fan, so I'm not gonna bring that up because I,
Don't even put that out in the universe.
you
Don't even put that out in the universe,
know.
brother.
But listen, man,
It's good.
listen, at the end of the day, just so everybody know, if they tuning in right now, go back to the beginning, watch the
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
We
yeah.
talk about a lot of different things, right? Just because we can, because the whole point is we have good
Organic talk.
conversations. It is what it is, man. So come back and
Mhm.
get into that talk, man. But I think it's time for us to jet.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. My name is Christian Lockhart.
I'm Troy Sneed. And listen, if you just hopped on, you might learn some basketball knowledge you didn't have. So there you go.
That's right.
We got all
That's right.
kinds of knowledge here. We one chapter ahead, and we're gonna be talking about what we working on. Troy
Right.
Sneed, Christian Lockhart.
Appreciate y'all.